Hey everyone, MTash here, and today I wanted to make a new Genshin Impact 2.0 tier list. I'm going to go over all the characters because things have changed a lot, and I'm actually going to be deleting and privating my old videos because I just don't think that they apply anymore. Now, a couple things before we begin. If someone is in the S tier, that means they are absolutely godly. It doesn't matter what team you throw them on, they're the cream of the crop. An A tier character is very, very good in my eyes, above average, and again, if you build them, you're going to shine. But even in the B tier, if they're in the B tier, they're great characters. Almost everyone is going to be in the B tier, and if you put artifacts on them and a weapon, they will slap and they will carry your team. Okay? They will absolutely slap and carry your team. Don't even question it. If I put your character in the B tier, they are good. If they're your favorite, just build them and use them. Okay? C tier leaves a little bit to be desired, and D tier, I don't personally recommend them, especially because resources are limited, okay? They're underperformers, maybe. But pretty much everyone is going to be in these tiers right here, right? A, B, and C. And just remember that this is opinion-based, and all of us Genshin content creators, we're just kind of, we're dumb, especially me, okay? So let's get started. I'm going to start with my favorite DPS, my Triple Crown D-Luke. But before I tell you where he's going, a quick word from our sponsor. Are you worried about hair loss? I know your boy MTash is checking that thing every single day. Is the Widow Peak coming? I don't know. My grandpa is bald, my dad is bald. 2/3 of men, 2 out of 3, are going to experience some sort of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. But with Keeps, you have a chance of fighting that. Keeps will ship you everything right to your door at an amazing price. So click that link down below because it's super easy to get started. And the sooner you can get started with Keeps and being consistent with it, the better your chances of keeping your hair long term. And if you do end up using it, send me pictures like that. Show me your results because I would love to see your success. If you're interested in more information or starting your own journey trying to regain some of that hair, click the link down below and check out the Keeps website today. By using my link, you can get 50% off your initial order. So what are you waiting for? Save that hair, and thank you so much, Keeps, for sponsoring this video. So D-Luke, a lot of people think he's underwhelming. I personally think that his ultimate ability, launching enemies, and his pyro damage uptime is fantastic. I love D-Luke. I think he's an A tier. He's not an S tier. I think he's an A tier. But I can understand the argument for B tier. But because he's a 5-star, I'm going to put him in the A tier. And if you play him right, I think he is very, very valuable. A lot of these characters I'm going to spam through. So I wanted to throw this in because honestly, the more I think about it, I honestly think he could be B tier because he did get power crept by some other 5-star units. But if they ever release a cracked 5-star Claymore, which I don't really think they have, I think that he would be back in the A tier. Right now, there just aren't great options. Albedo. I am not going to lie. I have not used a lot of Albedo. I understand that he could be very, very good, but I don't see him rocked in a lot of teams, and I think he's someone that if you build him, he'll be good. One of those characters that can bring quite a bit to the team, some shields, some sustained damage, but I'm not going to say that he is absolutely god tier and everyone needs to have them. Amber. D tier. She's one of the characters in the game that I think does need a buff. She doesn't bring a ton to the table. I've seen videos where she's absolutely slapping, because you can triple crown an Amber and make her do damage. But there's so many better characters in the game that I don't think that Amber brings enough. The main character, this one is tough because there's multiple elements. Geo, probably in a B tier. Animo, probably in the B tier. Electro, I love it, but probably in the B tier. I think that the Traveler is overall just kind of an average character, can do a lot if you build them, but it is not going to be a game-changing account. Ayaka. Cryo DPS, I'm going to put her in the A tier. I've seen some videos where she does insane damage. She's got a very unique playstyle if you like that. Some people really dislike it, like Tectone doesn't enjoy her dash ability, but other players love her. I could see her being in the A tier very easily. Again, a 5-star character. Why not? So next up, we have Barbara. I could see a lot of people saying D tier, but Barbara, I'm going to put her in the C/D tier. I'm going to give you a reason why. She is a healer, and healers aren't as valuable as they used to be at the beginning of the game. You know, her interactions, water interactions, typically aren't amazing, so being a healer and water, it's just not the best. But she can use the Thrilling Dragon Tales book, whatever it is. It's a really easy 3-star book to get that can boost your team's damage, so getting her as a free character it does bring some value, but once you start getting to the end game, most people aren't using a Barbara. I am going to put her in the D tier just because I wish she did a little bit more, or maybe buffed your team a little bit more. All she really does is heal, and it's just not enough. Now, Shang Yun, you know, he's been all over the place for me. I've had him in B tier, I've had him in C tier. I just don't see a lot of people using him. One of the big reasons why is Shang Yun actually changes the elements of your attacks. And for some characters, that can ruin your damage. He will actually make your attacks cryo. So if you're using someone like Razor, who is physical damage, using Shang Yun will actually debuff you and ruin your damage, right? And so I'm going to put him in the C tier. If you put him in a perfect team, if you pair him with perfect characters, he can do something, but I don't see him being very meta-defining or amazing. Chi-Chi, I'm going to put her again in the D tier. All she really does is heal. Her abilities aren't that great. They don't have very good area of effect. They're a constant heal. It's hard to die when you use a Chi-Chi. Hey, get out of here! What? Chi-Chi's just not really doing anything, and as a 5-star unit, it almost makes me want to put her lower down because it's like, really? I got this 5-star character? She's not great. Now, Beidou, this is a character that was down here. When everyone treated her like a DPS, she was like a C-tier unit. It's like, yeah, she's fine. But if you build her with energy recharge, you build a bunch of damage on her, she is very, very valuable. I'm going to throw her in the B tier, but I could see arguments absolutely for an A tier support because the damage she can dish out is amazing. That being said, I think that you need C2 to even consider putting her up here, so I'm going to put her down. That's the tough thing is with constellations, characters get amazing or they're average, like it really changes. I'm going to put her in B to be safe. And I would say if you're building her as a support, as a main DPS, I still think she has some weird problems with some of her scaling. Bennett is minimum in A tier, even at C0, but the moment that you get C1, he is S tier. Back in the day, people ranked Bennett super low. All the tier lists that have Bennett ranked low, they're wrong. They're flat out wrong. He is one of the best characters in the game. His healing is insane, and the scaling he gives you. You get a chunk of his attack damage on your characters when using his ultimate, and it can like double your damage in some cases. It is absolutely bonkers. He is irreplaceably good. If you have one, build one. And if you ever watched a tier list where they said he sucks, I'm sorry. Diona. Diona is a character that a lot of people got for free a patch ago. I think in like the 1.6. I don't even remember all the numbers. Diona, I think she is fantastic. I'm actually going to put her in the A tier. If you have a sacrificial bow, I could see arguments in the S tier because she's a 4-star unit. You don't need constellations, and that's kind of the reason why, is she's so valuable. I could see her being up here, especially with sacrificial bow. But just to be safe, I'm going to say she's above average, very, very good. And I want to save the S tier for the God tier, best of the best. Fischl. She has always been good, above average. If you've got constellations, I would say she is closer to an A tier unit. And back in the day, everyone called her S tier, but I don't know if she's S tier. I don't know if she's that good. She's definitely above average with constellations, but I'm gonna put her in the B tier just to be safe because it really depends where you are with your account. Ganyu, S tier. Ganyu is game-breakingly amazing to an extent. She's the best DPS in the game. She's got amazing area of effect. She thrives in the Spiral Abyss because of this area of effect. You can put her in pretty much every team. She can even support, if you have a Ganyu, build her. And if you didn't build her, what are you doing? Okay? Ganyu's amazing. Hu Tao. Hu Tao is very single target focused, but her ultimate does have some area of effect, and if you group up the enemies, you can one-bang a whole bunch of them. I think that Hu Tao does have some bursty moments where she's almost S tier, but I'm going to put her in the A tier because if you throw her in a team, you're swapping around and using her, she's going to be very, very valuable. I do think that she gets more valuable with weapons and some really good artifacts, and so if you don't have a well-built one, I could honestly almost see her in just the good, the good tier, but a well-built Hu Tao she's nuts. Jean! I always roast Jean because I think she's boring. Well, I got Jean. I started playing with her, and I realized the potential. I'm going to say that she's right here. She is a healer, and it almost makes me want to put here because, it's like, Really? Do you need healing if you've got these big crazy shields or you're blowing everything up? But she's also an Animo character, and they have one of the best sets in the game. The Verdescent set debuffs enemies, so minimum, I'm going to put her in the B tier. I think that Jean is pretty cool. Kaya! He used to be down here for people, but it's because they didn't have constellations, and they just didn't realize. He's a free character that you get, but he can be an absolutely nuts support. Very, very good. If you build him, you can throw him on pretty much any team, and he's just going to dish out a nice chunk of damage and energy for your team. If you do have C4, C5, you're pushing into C6, I could see him being an A tier support. He's very, very good, but getting constellations is tough. If you feel like you got unlucky and you haven't built this guy and you've got like C6, try him. I'm telling you, he's amazing. We'll put him in the B tier for now, but he does have some potential. Iching, she is a 5-star DPS. And even in the B tier, I feel like I almost need to put her in the B tier because she's a 5-star with some 5-star scaling. But I'm going to put her in the C tier for the average player who hasn't maximized her. If you build her well, I think she's right here and even into the A tier. But I'm going to tell you why. Electro reactions aren't amazing. I think that the Electro sets are fine, but they're not as good as even like the Pyro set. Like the Crimson Witch set, the Animo set, they're amazing. And I think the Electro sets are kind of average, as well as the reactions. And I've got a personal reason I'm putting her in the C tier. Maybe not everyone realizes this, but when you use a lot of her attacks, like charge attacks, it launches enemies constantly, and I feel like she has one of the most annoying enemy tracking in the game. I feel like when you use her, she just launches everyone around, and you're constantly playing catch-up, and it's frustrating for me. It's very fun dashing around, but I'm going to put her in the C tier for now. I'm sorry for everyone that loves her. Klee. She has some moments where she has S tier damage or A tier damage, very, very good damage, but I cannot get behind how clunky she feels. There's a big controversy when I first reviewed this character. I said, she sucks, she feels terrible. And I really got roasted for it. Almost quit covering Genshin because of it. I see the potential damage-wise, but her playstyle, I think she needs something to change. I just don't like it. Lisa. I think Lisa is... You know what? I've never built Lisa. So if I say she's like really bad, someone's gonna be like, I built her and she's amazing. I've never built Lisa. I could see with constellations, like being right here, but she's clunky. She can get knocked out of her one animation so easily. However, if you're using someone who's using shields, you can stop that. I'm gonna say like a well-built one could be in B, but I'm gonna put her in the C or even D tier. I think that I would rather have Lisa on my team than Amber, but I just don't see anyone really using her, so I'm going to put her in the D tier. Just don't hate on me. Traveler, we already kind of did that. We'll just, it's just in the B tier. Actually, get Aether out of here. You're ugly. Move him down here. You can go right at the end. We'll put Lumine in there because she's cuter. Okay? Don't judge me. Razor. A lot of tier lists early on say he's like A tier or even like an S tier. And then people said he's like B or C tier. Even D tier, because he's Electro. The thing is Razor is Electro, but he's mostly physical damage. And there are new physical artifacts like the Pale Flame set that I think are pretty damn good. And I recently built a Razor. Now my Razor is C6 with a 5-star weapon, and he's putting up this kind of damage. I've looked at the times that he is killing bosses. I've looked at the times that he's clearing domains, and he is absolutely slapping faces. But I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I'm going to put him in the B tier. I think even at Constellation, like, 0, he's pretty good if you build him. Maybe in C tier at C0, not well built. When you start getting him well built, I think he's B tier minimum. And to get pushed into A tier, you need multiple Constellations, C4 minimum, and I think you have to have really good artifacts and a weapon. But we're going to put him in the B tier. All right, now Mona. This one is a little bit tough. If you're looking at damage per screenshot and you want big numbers, Mona is one of the only characters in the game that debuffs the enemy and causes you to hit like a truck. Like, she literally makes you do more damage. But I don't know where to put her overall value. She is more of a support character, and in a quick swap team where you're just doing a bunch of ultimates and slamming it with abilities, she can be really good. I have her, and I didn't really build her that well. And I feel like if you don't invest a lot, she's right here. And she's not going to change your life. But I also think that she's pretty good even if you don't invest a lot into her. And she gets much better if you do. And if you put her in the right comp, she's gross. So I'm going to put her tentatively in the A tier, but it's this one's a tough one for me. Ning Wang. One of those characters that gets better with constellations as well. If you put Ning Wang in C6 and good gear, I think she's A tier, almost minimum. I think that she is a very good DPS, but you can burst down some bosses. Ning Wang is insane, but it's going to depend on how much you invest in her and the constellations that you have. I'm not in love with Geo as like a DPS element because the reactions just aren't amazing. And so I'm going to put her in the B tier because I think that it does depend a little bit on constellations, and also because the element, it's like, I don't want to bait you into building Ning Wang. If you don't have a good weapon for her, if you don't have constellations, I think she can do really good. And again, B tier isn't bad. If you invest in them, they're going to do good. I just don't want you to see this and be like, I gotta build her over Diluc, I gotta build her over Ayaka. You know what I mean? You know, if she was over here, she'd be like right here on the B list. Like she'd be like right at the start. Kid, you know what? I'm gonna put her in A. I can put her in A or else people are gonna hate on me. Noelle. She's one of those characters that I think really needs constellations to shine. She's a free character. Everyone has access to her. C tier, maybe. But like, I don't think she brings a crazy amount to the table in the current meta. If you have constellations, she can be slapping. You can say that about pretty much everyone, but she gets so much better with constellations that without them, I honestly think she's bad. I think she's bad. Sucrose! At a minimum, I think she is a B tier. If you get constellations, I think she is a minimum A tier. She also has some of the best like elemental mastery buffing and like stuff in the game. She's got the Animo set. I can see some major value there. I'm gonna put her kind of in the B tier as well. Again, no constellations, B tier. Multiple constellations, A tier, for sure. Okay? Tartaglia. He can do pretty nutty damage. He can also vaporize. You can pair him with someone like Xiangling. I'm going to put Tartaglia here because his damage output is pretty nuts overall. You can throw him in quite a few different teams. You know, he's got some pretty good supports you can put him with. I've never built him, though. So I'm going to put him in the A tier because I've seen some videos of him. I also think that some of his constellations are kind of nutty. And I don't know. I feel like I just want to put him in B tier. But he is a 5-star. So I'll leave him there. Venti, S tier. You can't convince me otherwise. I think Venti is one of the best characters in the game. They recently buffed Animo. The Verdescent set with the swirl is absolutely insane. This character doesn't work on everyone because his black hole of wind that he sends out, it doesn't suck up large enemies, but you can still make it very effective against large enemies. It just doesn't completely stun lock them like smaller enemies. But Venti is almost irreplaceably good, and he is my favorite Animo character and one of my favorite characters in the game. He's also my first 5-star ever. So I got a little special thing. Xiangling. Free to play. God tier unit. Now, honestly, I feel like the more people play the game, the more they realize how good Xiangling is. Her ability to be a physical DPS or just a good support. I'm going to put her in the A tier because I think she is replaceable, or there might be better characters, but Xiangling is actually cracked. Like, she is insane. She out DPSs many 5-star characters with the right team. There's, if you want to Google it, there's the national team. Just check it out. Xiangling is insane. I'm almost tempted to put her in S tier. If you don't build her well, she might be lackluster, but there's some things that she can do that I think she really is a valuable character. Xiao. I'm going to put him in the A tier as well. He's very unique as a character, and because of the, you know, he's got like crit built into his kit, he's a good character. He's way better at, like, you know, with C6, he becomes S tier. But we can't treat every character like that. I think at base value, he's like an A, B tier. But I'm going to put him in the A tier overall. Xingqiu, S tier. Xingqiu is S tier. You can't convince me otherwise. He is a 4-star unit that brings so much value to the team. He brings so much damage to the team. He brings healing to the team. He brings damage reduction to the team. One of the only characters in the game with damage reduction, which you might not think is good, but like, It's a very valuable thing to have that you can just throw on. He does vaporize elemental reactions. Xingqiu is S tier. Get constellations, and he's up here. He's not even on the list. So good. Xinyan. She's down here. She's got a cleanse, which I love. I've made videos on why I like her. I would put her in the C tier, but I think a lot of people roast Xinyan because it's like, you don't need her. These are characters that I can't recommend spending a bunch of resources on, right? And Xinyan, if you've got the resources hanging around or multiple constellations, she's okay. But with her mixed scaling, she's meh for me. Zhongli, S tier unit, potentially best in the game all around. He hits hard. He has the best shields in the game. He is cracked visually. This character is honestly up here in his own realm. I think if I had to say you get 1 5-star and I had to pick it, I think most people would pick him because he also debuffs the enemy and reduces their defenses. Like, I think he is almost the best character in the game. Like, he's right there at the front. So that's all I have to say. Rosaria. Rosaria, her constellations are kind of trash. Or not trash, but like, she's got some weird stuff where it's like she wants to be a DPS, but I view her as a support. And if you get those support constellations, I think she's pretty valuable. But I could honestly see why some people would call her like an average or underperforming unit. I would understand why people would say C tier. And I could also see if you had a really well built one, A tier. But I'm gonna put her in the B, almost C tier. This one's tough for me. This one is tough for me. Mine, I would say minimum B tier because I have constellations and I love her. I'm gonna put her there just to be safe, but it's tough. Eula. This one's tough because like I don't think physical is overall amazing. But I've also seen some of the damage she can dish out. I'm gonna put her in the A tier because if I had to choose between, Razor in the B tier and Eula, I would go with Eula now. Now that I've seen the potential, I think I would put Eula in the A tier. She can dish out insane damage, but this one is kind of up in the air for me. Yanfei. Yanfei is like a Ningguang. She's like a Pyro Ningguang, very similar feel of character. And she is a Pyro DPS, which is pretty good. I'm going to put her in the B tier as well, because if you build her... Jesus Christ, this is annoying. There we go. If you put her in the B tier, she is pretty valuable damage-wise. I think she needs a few constellations to really take off. I think that there's better characters in the game. It's like, you can use her, but I don't think she's your best option. But honestly, watch a guide or a video, because I think she can dish out some pretty insane damage. So listen to them. People who have built her and know what they're talking about. Kazuha! I'm having a tough one here. I would love to know your thoughts on Kazuha. I'm honestly contemplating putting him in S tier because of the fun factor. He is so damn fun to play. I just got him as well. With a couple of constellations, he becomes S tier. He boosts the elemental damage of your team. Kazuha is honestly pretty damn nuts. But is he as good as these characters here? I don't know, man. I'm thinking he is. Now that I've seen more videos of what Kazuha can do. I'm going to say, if you don't build him well or invest in him, he'd be closer to A tier. But if you build him well and you have a couple constellations, he's gross. He is gross. Absolutely gross. I'm going to put him in the S tier because he does something pretty unique. I think he's pretty valuable. Uh-oh. Yalmia. I feel like she's in the C tier. I feel like she's underwhelming, but if she's in the C tier, then Yanfei has to be in the C tier. You know what I mean? And some of the other characters do. I'm going to put her in the B tier. If you've got her, build her, get her artifacts, and she will slap. Okay? Yomiya is good. I don't like her, but she is good, and she can do crazy burst DPS. So enjoy your Yomiya. Don't listen to me. I'm just some idiot talking on YouTube, okay? Sayu! Oh my god, again. Great little character. Love her. Animal characters are fire because of debuffing enemies with the set. I honestly think that like limited build, she's a B tier. If you do get constellations, I would put her up here. If you're looking at fun factor, A or S tier. Like she's awesome. I'm gonna put her in the B tier just to be safe. But Sayu, very, very cool. Kazuha version 2. He doesn't exist. Val, right? We don't know yet. Doesn't exist. I'm gonna have to make another updated video. But Val looks really cool. I love Sarah. Beautiful. Kokima. I think I said in my video the other day. Kokima! Don't know anything about her yet. She's not in the game. And then Aloy, she's a new free 5-star. So she's going to be right up there. Right off the hop because she's free. Everyone can get her. Why wouldn't you build her? But we don't know anything about her kit yet. So I'm going to go with that for right now. Again, guys, if you don't agree with a character, that's fine. Watch a guide, watch a review, but I wanted to at least do something where it's like, all right, if you build them, they're gonna be fuego. I mean, even here, I could put Kaching there. You can put everyone in the B tier if you want. If you build anyone that, well, actually, not you. Go back down there. Go back down there. If you put artifacts and weapons on anyone in the game, they're good. Don't cry about a tier list. This is just a little bit of a guiding lesson for you. But I think, anyone that is B tier and above, if you invest in them, you're going to be laughing. They're going to be very, very powerful characters for you. And that's pretty much it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Click that link down below to check out Keeps, and I'll see you soon, my friends.